All right, in this video we're going to look at simplifying fractions. So the good thing about watching this video is that you can watch it as many times as you like, but also you can pause it and have a go yourself. So as we work through this worksheet, and I'm going to do every single question, we're going to do them together. So you can pause it at whatever you like, or you can just stop it and have a go at doing them all by yourself, and then you can have a look at the solutions later. It's completely up to you. But hopefully by the time that we've done these questions, you'll understand how to simplify. Okay, so the purpose of simplifying fractions is because, if we're working with large numbers, we don't usually say, oh, it's 100 over 200. Okay, so 100 out of 200 people like going to the football. We'll say half of the people like going to football. Okay, so the purpose of fractions is simplifying fractions is to take a more complicated fraction and make it simpler. Now, to do that, we need to first find the highest common factor. Okay, so the first step is to find the highest common factor. So remember that the highest common factor is a number that goes into two or more numbers. So if we look at the first one, the highest common factor of 9 and 18. Now, for some of them, they'll come to you straight away. Others, you might actually have to write out what the factors are. So if we were looking at the number 9, the factors of 9 are 1 and 9, that's a factor pair, and also 3 and 3, but we don't write it twice, okay? And then 18, we have 1 and 18. We can have 2 and 9. What else can we have? 3 and 6. And I think that is it. So once you've written your factors, you can actually figure out, well, what's the highest one? They both have the number 1, okay? They both have the number 9, and they both have the number 3. Okay, so they have all those factors in common, but we want the highest one. So the highest one in this case is 9. All right, even if you need to circle all the common factors, you can rewrite them in order from lowest to highest to see what the highest one is, but just writing them out like this, and one of the numbers will have fewer factors than another. So you can see here for the number 9, we're only looking at 3 numbers. So these 3 numbers common to 18, yes, all 3 are, but 9 is the highest. Now, once you've got the highest common factor, we got to, do that. Okay, so I'm going to do the working out just down here. So we're looking at 9 over 18. Our highest common factor is 9, so that means what we need to do to the top and the bottom is divide it by that highest common factor. So on the top I have 9 divided by 9, which is 1, and on the bottom I have 18 divided by 9, which is 2. So my very first question simplifies to a half. Now you might see some other ones on here that also simplify to a half. Just on this first line, looking at it, I can see 2 others that that simplify to a half. Can you figure out which ones they are just by looking at them? So I know 9 over 18 is a half. So 4 over 16, does that become a half? What about 18 over 36 and 20 over 40? So think about which ones you think might be a half. Okay, let's move on to question 2. So the first thing we're going to do is find the highest common factor. We're looking at the number 4 and the number 16. Okay, so the numerator, the number on the top is 4, and the denominator, the number on the bottom is 16. Now you can write the factors, 1, 4 and 2. Now with 16, because I'm only looking for common factors, I can say is 1 Does 1 go into 16? Yes, it does. Does 4? Yes. And does 2? Yes. Okay, so it has in common those 3. I don't need to write all the factors of 16. It's a bit of time wasting really, because I know that 8 doesn't go into 4, neither does 16. So we've got the number 4 and 4. Okay, so I'm just going to move over here to the right-hand side and write my fraction. So 4 over 16. My highest common factor was 4. Okay, so that means I divide the numerator by 4 and divide the denominator by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 4 over 16 simplifies to a quarter. Now remember I said to you before 2 others were a half, so obviously if this one's a quarter, then these 2 have to be simplified to a half. So let's just check. So we need to find first the highest common factor of 18 and 36. Now an easier way to do it is to say, well, does 18 go into 36? Okay, because I know 18 is the highest factor of 18. And does 18 go into 36? It does. It goes in twice. So yes, 18 is also a factor. So I don't need to list all the factors. Okay, I might have to do some more because let's say if we had the number 45 here, 18 doesn't go into 45. So I'd have to find something else. But in this case, it does. So just like I've done before, I'm going to circle them even though there's only 2 factors there. Okay, you can list all the factors. Obviously, there's more than just the number 18. But the reason I did that is because you should first check whether the numerator goes into the denominator, and it does. Okay, so my fraction, 18 over 36, divide the numerator and the denominator by that highest common factor. So 18 divided by 18 is 1, and then 36 divided by 18 is 2. Okay, so remember I said before that it was a half. Okay, let's try number 4. Okay, so the first step is to find your highest common factor. We have 20 over 40. Now the good thing about having multiples of 10 is we can just say this is the same as 2 over 4. So just think, oh, I'm going to get rid of that 0 and that 0. And then 2 over 4 might be easier to work with than 20 over 40. So the highest common factor of 2 and 4 is 2. So if I divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, I get a half. Let's write it up here. Okay, let me just pause this and get rid of all that working out. If you need the working out there, just you pause it now. Oh, sorry, I just left a big blob there. Is it going to go away? No. I found it easier just to clear everything and rewrite these again, but then obviously in doing that, I did a big blob on my 2. Okay, let's rewrite that too. All right, so let's move on to the next row. So remember what I said with 20 over 40, we can eliminate those zeros. Okay, so I'm not going to rewrite highest common factor all the time. So we're going to look at question 5 now, which is 70 over 80. So remember I said you can get rid of those zeros. And now we're left with 7 over 8. Now, is there any number that goes into 7 that also goes into 8? Well, the only number is 1. So we can't simplify it any further if it's the highest common factor is 1. So 70 over 80 becomes 7/8. All right, question 6, 18 over 24. Now, a question like this is helpful to write your factors because 18 doesn't actually go into 24. So we'll look at the smaller number first. What numbers go into 18. So we can do the factor pairs, 1 and 18, 2 and 9. I think that might be it. Okay, and then 24. Which of these go into 24? So we have the number 1, 18 doesn't, number 2, and 9 doesn't. So for 18, the highest common factor is going to be 2. Actually, sorry, not 2. I knew there was another one. This is where you could get put on the spot. 3 and 6. That's my bad. Okay, so 3 and 6 also go into 24. Okay, so then now we can do the highest. So what is the highest? 6. Now there is always a way to check, because if you get your final answer and you think that doesn't look like the lowest, the most simplest form. And I might do that one with something coming up later. Okay, so let's do the working out over here. Actually, I'll do it up here. So the highest common factor is 6, so divide both the numerator and the denominator by 6. This is where you really need to know your times tables and why I'm encouraging you to do TT Rockstars. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So we have 3/4 here. All right, let's move on to question 7. So we have 5 over 40. Okay, does 5 go into 40? Now you need to know how things are divisible. Okay, so if you have a 0 on the end of the number, it means it's divisible by both 10 and 5, amongst other numbers as well, but in this case, yep, 5 does go into 40. So the highest common factor is 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So this one simplifies to 1/8. All right, let's move on to question 8. 21 over 36. Okay, again, you can write your factors, might be the easiest way to go for this one here. So 1 and 21, 2 doesn't go into it, 3 and 7, that might be it. 36, what do we got? 1 is the same, 21 doesn't go into 36, but 3 does, and 7 doesn't. So the highest common factor is 3. So just realize that I didn't need to write down all the factors of 36, because once I've gone through all these factors, I should have the highest one that is common to both of them. Okay, so let's go up here. Come on. Okay, so we divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. So 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 36 divided by 3 is 12. We have 7 over 12. Okay, see if you can do the next line on your own. Okay, so I'm going to keep going through the answers just like I have been if you need extra practice, but perhaps have a go at doing them yourself, the next 4. I'm going to move quicker through them by not writing the factors, so you'll be able to quickly check. All right, so moving on to question 9, which is 6 over 9. The highest common factor is 3, so divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we have 2/3. All right, question 10, 21 over 56. Okay, getting a bit harder, so it might be, you might need to use multiplication table if you need, but the highest common number is 7. So 21 divided by 7 is 3, and then 56 divided by 7 is 8. So we have 3/8. All right, I'm going to just do the rest of them on the sheet. Okay, so the highest common factor of 9 and 36 is 3. No, sorry, it's 9, isn't it? So it's 1, 1 over 4. This one here, highest common factor is 9, so we have 1 over 5, because 45 divided by 9 is 5. All right, 6 and 42, so the highest common factor is actually 6, so we have 1, and then 42 divided by 6 is 7. 14 and 35. Now 14 doesn't go into 35, but 7 does, so we have 2 fifths. 24 and 36. Okay, so let me just think of. So 6 goes into them, so does 12. Okay, so 24 divided by 12 is 2. And 36 divided by 12 is 3, so we have 2/3. 10 over 12, the highest common factor is 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, and 36 over 45. I think we did one before, didn't we? Something similar. 36 and 45, the highest common factor is 9. So yeah, 4 over 5. Okay, 4 and 24, so 4 is your highest common factor, so we have 1 over 6. 12 and 21, 3 is your highest common factor. 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 63 and 77. Okay, so this is a bit harder. 7 goes into 63 and 77. So 63 divided by 7 is 9. And then 77 divided by 7 is 11. Okay, the highest common factor of 12 and 15 is 3. So we have 4/5. Remember this one, cross out the zeros. We're left with 3/4. Nice easy one. 32 and 48. Okay, let me just think. 8. So 8 into 32. I think we can get 16. Yeah, so 16 goes into 32 twice and 48 3 times. Okay, so this one here is a little bit harder because you might have not realized that 16 was the highest common factor. 42 and 77, so 7, so we have 6 over 11. Okay, 18 and 36, so 9 is your highest common factor. So we have, oh, no. See what I did there? I thought 9 was the highest common factor. Actually, I did this question before. It's up here. I thought that was something repeated. Okay, so if you ever do this and you get, like I did here, 2 over 4, and you should think, I think that can be simplified further, and it can. It's actually a half. We can see that because we did that up here. And that's what happens sometimes when you're thinking quickly. You might think you've got the highest common factor, but you don't. But there's nothing wrong. You can just keep simplifying until you do. All right, 28 and 42. That's 7. So 4. Oh, another one where I could have simplified it. See, I'm rushing through. So 2/3. All right. So 14 is the highest common factor there. Okay, so see how I've done these two in 2 steps. Nothing wrong with doing that as long as your final one is the simplest one. Okay, so this is a half, nice easy one. 12 over 15 we did before up here, so 4 over 5. Here, remember we cross out the zeros and we're left with 4 over 6. Now that can be simplified to 2/3. Here we go, a half. I think we had that one before. 6 and 18 becomes a third, and 36 and 40. Last one ending on it. 18 over 20. 9, 10. So 5, no, not 5, sorry. Okay, so the way I would do this is I would just say, oh, I know I can halve both of them. So if I halve 36, I get 18, 18 over 20, and I can halve them again, so 9 over 10. Okay, so sometimes there's a simpler way to do it. All right, let's clear all this. So if you need to pause, you can. Okay, and there are the answers. Just in case I made any mistakes, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I went too quickly through the ones towards the end, remember the key phrase you're looking for is highest common factor. To simplify fractions, you need to find the highest common factor. Okay, well done.